I need to be honest with you about something first. Right before making this video, I almost didn't make it at all. It wasn't that I didn't know how. It wasn't a lack of material. It wasn't a lack of time. It was lying in bed every night, opening my notes app, staring at that blinking cursor while 1,000 thoughts raced through my head, but my fingers couldn't type a single word. And then I'd do something I've become exceptionally skilled at. I'd open my phone, watch a video titled something like, "How to Beat Procrastination," think to myself, this YouTuber gets it, save it to a playlist, and then keep scrolling until 1 in the morning. The next day, the Notes app was still empty. This went on for 2 full weeks. 2 weeks during which I probably watched dozens of videos about self-discipline, time management, and how to work more efficiently. I likely know more about procrastination than most undergraduate psychology students at this point. But my video? Not a single frame was edited. If you're currently stuck on something, whether it's a video, a paper, a project, a skill you want to learn, or anything you've been meaning to start, but haven't, I'm not here to give you a 5-step cure for procrastination. You've seen that kind of thing too many times already. If it worked, you'd have stopped procrastinating by now. What I want to do is lay out, in plain terms, what I genuinely figured out during those 2 weeks. This is my second video. I started preparing for it much earlier than the first one, and it's longer, but trust me, I'm not going to make one of those videos that only talks about the problem and then hands you a hollow set of solutions. By the end of this video, you will no longer be fooled by your own procrastination mindset. One evening, I scrolled past a video. The title was something like, "Why You Always Feel Anxious." I absolutely knew that watching it wouldn't change my situation in any way, but I clicked on it anyway. Not only did I click, I watched the whole thing, and then watched 3 more, just like it. Later, I mentioned this to a friend, and he said something that made me realize where my thinking had gone wrong. He said, "Honestly, sometimes even when you know watching that video won't change anything, there's something about anxiety videos that just makes you want to watch them." And that sentence made it click. I wasn't solving anxiety. I was consuming anxiety. It's an exquisitely crafted trap. You feel anxious, so you search for how to not be anxious. You find a video that perfectly describes your state. You feel understood. Your brain releases a tiny hit of dopamine. You get the illusion that you're actually dealing with the problem. But the moment the video ends, you're back in reality, and nothing has changed. The anxiety returns sometimes even stronger than before, because you've just wasted another 30 minutes. So you search for another one, and you fall into a specific kind of limbo. First comes the anxiety, then the consumption, then the illusion of action, then the collapse of that illusion, then deeper anxiety, and then, of course, more consumption. Psychology calls this rumination. You think about the same problem over and over, but you never actually move toward a solution. In practice, you're constantly diagnosing the problem. Every time you watch a video about fixing yourself, you're sending a signal to your brain. You have an internal flaw that needs continuous monitoring. Your attention gets locked onto your own inadequacies, while the thing you actually need to do, that video, that article, that project, sits untouched in the corner, completely frozen, unable to affect you. Forbes published an analysis titled, "Why Self-Help Content Can Be Harmful." Its core conclusion was this: mainstream self-help content often operates through a deficit framework. It constantly reminds you of what you currently lack, rather than helping you act with what you already have. The more you consume, the more inadequate you feel, and the more inadequate you feel, the more content you think you need to fix yourself. That's exactly why your screen time keeps climbing, while your to-do list keeps growing. You're drowning your resolve to act in a flood of information. Alright, so I've laid out the anxiety loop. But there's an even deeper problem. Even if you see through the loop, even if you put down your phone, ready to make a change, chances are you still won't be able to start. Why? Because what you're facing is silence. You spend a whole day writing a script, cutting a video, and summon the courage to post it. And then, 32 views, 2 likes, one of them your own, No comments, no shares. It's as if you dropped a stone into a bottomless well, and there wasn't even an echo. A friend of mine described this state with unsettling precision. The video never gets published. There's never any feedback. You never get validation. And it's just a vicious cycle, over and over. And then he said something even more piercing. When something shows no results for long enough, you just stop wanting to do it. This feeling isn't unique to you. It's the fundamental wiring of the human brain. Your brain is designed as a feedback-driven machine. It takes an action and waits for the environment to respond. If the response is positive, great, this path works. It prompts you to keep going. If the response is silence, your brain automatically translates that silence into, your strategy has failed, your effort is wasted. Stop. Stop wasting energy. Stop wasting time. But here's the catch. Almost everything truly worth doing contains a long, silent, middle stretch. The first 3 months of working out, your body shows almost no visible change, but muscle fibers are being torn down and rebuilt at a microscopic level. The first 6 months of learning a new language, you stumble through even the most basic conversations, but neural pathways are being quietly laid down beneath the surface. The first 20 videos you make for YouTube will likely get almost no views, but your editing instincts, your sense for what topics work, your pacing, and rhythm are all slowly taking shape beneath the waterline. Real progress almost always happens where you can't see it. It's like bamboo. It spends 3 years building its root system underground, with nothing visible above the surface, and then it shoots up in year 4. But your brain doesn't care about any of that. It only sees the silence of this moment, and it tells you, stop. Harvard Business School professor Teresa Amabile conducted a study with her team. They analysed nearly 12,000 diary entries from 238 employees, looking for an answer to a single question. What actually drives people's emotions and motivation at work? The answer wasn't promotions. It wasn't raises. It wasn't praise from a manager. The answer was making progress in meaningful work, even progress that was tiny, progress that no one else would even notice. She called this the progress principle. And the flip side is just as real. The feeling of setback, of treading water, or even moving backward, does more damage to motivation than progress itself does to boost it. That's why, at the very beginning, the most important thing isn't making something perfect. It's getting to that first visible milestone as quickly as possible. Not because the milestone itself is so important, but because your brain needs to be fed. It needs a signal that confirms you're moving forward. Keep going. But there's a part here you might not want to hear. When I looked back at those 2 weeks of procrastination mindset, I initially thought the problem was no feedback. But then I realized that even if there had been feedback, I probably still wouldn't have acted, because I was caught in another, more insidious trap. I was obsessing over what form the video should take to look better. What style should I use? How should I open? Should I make it vertical or horizontal? Should I add subtitles? Is my voice good enough? Should I buy a better microphone first? Should I wait until I find a truly unique angle to start? Every single question seemed perfectly reasonable. But stacked together, those reasonable questions form a perfect wall. A wall that ensures you never actually have to begin. My friend said something to me then that was very simple but very accurate. Don't imagine it as something hard and impossible to finish. Treat it like a mechanical collection process, because the stage where you actually use your brain hasn't arrived yet. What he meant was, all those questions of form you're wrestling with, you're not yet entitled to wrestle with them. You haven't even made your first piece of work, and you're in there agonizing over subtitle colors? Psychologists Hewitt and Flett proposed a model of perfectionism back in 1991 that breaks it down into 3 dimensions. The dimension most strongly linked to procrastination is called socially prescribed perfectionism. The feeling that others have high expectations of you, and you're afraid you won't meet them. You're afraid of being judged, laughed at, ignored. So you avoid starting, because if you never start, you can't fail. The truth is this: you think you're chasing perfection, but you're actually running from judgment, running from failure. You think you're thinking about how to make it better, but you're really thinking about, what will I do if it turns out bad? And here's a core finding that's been repeatedly validated in procrastination research. Procrastination is not fundamentally a time management problem. It's an emotion regulation problem. You put off a task, not because you don't know how to do it, but because starting it triggers anxiety. Your brain's instinctive response is to avoid whatever makes you uncomfortable. Scrolling on your phone doesn't make you uncomfortable. Obsessing over form doesn't make you uncomfortable. What actually makes you uncomfortable is putting your work out in front of the world and receiving real judgment. All that preparation, if it drags on too long, isn't preparation at all. It's building a bunker so you can hide inside. Okay, by this point, you might be thinking, everything you're saying makes sense, but you're just describing the problem. Where's the solution? I'm not going to give you a checklist that says, wake up at 5, meditate for 10 minutes, write down your 3 most important tasks. You've tried that stuff. It didn't work. It's not that the methods are flawed. It's that there's a more fundamental shift in thinking that has to happen before you can use any of those methods. The pivot point comes down to a single word: imitation. When I was at my most anxious, my friend gave me the most practical path forward. His exact words were, if you want to get something done fast, stop thinking about questions of form. Just start by directly imitating the best work out there. Use the data and feedback you get to adjust the next version. And then, he added, following a path that's already been proven successful by others, and not falling into the obvious traps that's already the fastest route. When you hear the word imitation, your first reaction might be discomfort. I should have my own style. Isn't imitation just copying? I want to make original work. I used to think exactly the same way, but then I learned about something that completely changed how I see imitation. Psychologist Albert Bandura, if you've ever studied psychology, you definitely know that name. He proposed something called Social Learning Theory. The core idea is simple. The most efficient way for humans to learn a new behavior isn't to figure it out from scratch on their own. It's by observing others. He broke the process down into 4 steps. First, attention. You see what someone else does. Second, retention. You remember how it's done. Third, reproduction. You try to do it yourself. Fourth, motivation. You see that the person got a good result from doing it, so you have a reason to keep going. Most of human civilization's achievements have happened inside this framework. An apprentice follows the master. A medical student shadows the attending physician on rounds. A new employee learns by watching a senior colleague run a project. No one emerges from the void fully original. The first step for every unique creator you admire was also imitation. And imitation has another underappreciated function. It drastically lowers the barrier to starting. The biggest enemy a beginner faces when creating something is cognitive overload. You're simultaneously trying to think about topic, script, visuals, editing, rhythm, music, thumbnail, title. Every single dimension is a decision point, and every decision point drains your mental energy. Imitation, at its core, gives you scaffolding. You don't have to design the architectural blueprints yourself. You just have to look at a house that's already standing and move 1 brick at a time. When you finish your first piece of work, even if 80% of it is imitation, what you've gained isn't just a finished product. You've gained what Bandura called self-efficacy, the belief that, I did it, I can actually produce a complete piece of work. That belief is more important than any methodology. It's the fuel for continued action. Originality isn't the starting point. Originality is the destination. You have to run the full process first, before you earn the right to talk about original style. But I have to say one last thing, the thing that nearly made me stop altogether. Procrastination has a severely underappreciated property. It's not static. It has acceleration. My friend told me, you have to create a little tension for yourself about this. If you let yourself relax today, relax a bit more tomorrow, you'll fall behind and you'll feel awful. What he was describing is essentially a snowball effect. You put off one small thing today. The moment you delay, your brain gets a hit of relief pleasure. That comfort of escaping anxiety gets logged and remembered. By tomorrow, the threshold for delaying is even lower. The day after, lower still. And soon, you're delaying more things, bigger things. Tasks accumulate, anxiety swells, and your willingness to finish anything decays at the same rate. First delay, then temporary relief, then accumulating anxiety, then a stronger urge to escape, then more delay, and finally, an avalanche of anxiety. Even more dangerous, every procrastinator has an invisible character living in their head, a false future self. You always assume that tomorrow's version of you will be more motivated, more disciplined, more in the zone. I'm not in the right headspace today. I'll do it tomorrow when I feel better. But you never stop to ask yourself, why would tomorrow's version of you be any better? On what grounds? Your circumstances haven't changed. Your habits haven't changed. The anxiety you're facing hasn't changed. The only thing that's changed is that you now have one fewer day to actually do the work. Carleton University researcher Michael Wohl conducted an experiment and found something counterintuitive. People who practiced self-forgiveness after a bout of procrastination were actually less likely to procrastinate the next time they faced the same task. The reason is straightforward. Self-blame creates guilt. And guilt is an emotion people want to escape from. And escaping leads to more procrastination. But self-forgiveness breaks that loop. It lets you say, okay, I procrastinated. That's done. It can't be changed. And it shifts your attention from, how did I fail again? To, what can I do right now? So if you're currently in a state where the anxiety snowball has been rolling for a while, you've been putting things off for days, your plans have completely collapsed, and you feel like you're done for, please do one thing first. Forgive yourself. Not in a whatever, it doesn't matter kind of giving up, but in a real acknowledgement that you delayed, accepting that it already happened, and then pulling your energy out of the spiral of self-attack and putting it into the only thing that's useful. Whatever time is left right now, do as much as you can. And with that, I want to pull back to a bigger picture. This anxiety you're experiencing, this procrastination, this relentless self-doubt, it is not a personal, psychological defect. It's a structural product of this era. YouTube's algorithm operates on a mechanism psychology calls variable ratio reinforcement, the exact same principle that powers slot machines. Every time you post a video, it's like pulling the lever on a slot machine. You have no idea whether you'll hit this time or not. You don't know if you'll get 32 views or 320,000, and it's that very uncertainty that creates both the deepest addiction and the deepest anxiety. You think you're anxious about whether your own skills are good enough, but you're actually anxious about the random output of a machine that has been meticulously designed. Your anxiety is not your fault. It's what the machine wants you to feel. Because an anxious you will open the app more often, check the numbers more obsessively, adjust strategies more frequently, and post more content. Your anxiety is the platform's user engagement metric. My friend put it bluntly, a YouTuber being anxious about view counts is just the normal state of things. He wasn't trying to comfort me. He was stating a structural fact. You cannot not be anxious. This isn't an emotion you can overcome by leveling up enough times. It's the ambient temperature of the entire industry. The only thing you can do isn't to eliminate the anxiety, but to learn how to act inside it. This is the same thing I said in the first video. You can't flip the table. You can't change the algorithm. You can't eliminate competition. You can't make the anxiety magically vanish. But you can choose, within this imperfect, uncomfortable system, to keep moving your position. Alright, let me pull together everything I've said today. Your anxiety is real, but consuming anxiety is not solving anxiety. Every video you watch about how to not be anxious moves you one step further away from action. Your silent middle stretch is real, but silence is not failure. The progress you can't see is often the most important progress of all. Your perfectionism is real, but obsessing over form is not the pursuit of excellence. It's fear, dressed up in professional clothing. Your procrastination is real, but it's not because you're lazy. It's a snowball with acceleration, and every extra day you wait makes it harder to stop. Your anxiety about view counts is real, but it's not a personal defect. It's a feature of the industry's design. You don't need to cure it. You need to learn to travel with it. So, what do you do now? I'm not going to tell you to craft a perfect plan. I just want to ask you one question. The same kind of simple question I asked at the end of the first video. That thing you've been putting off, can you move it forward by 30 minutes tonight? Not finish it. Not do it well. Just move it forward, one step. That method your friend mentioned that you still haven't tried. Go try it. The first line of the script for that video you want to make still isn't written. Go write the opening. The first lesson of that skill you want to learn still hasn't been clicked. Watch the first 5 minutes. Stop trying to get it right all at once. First, you just need to prove to yourself. I started. My friend said something I still remember clearly. He said, first, run through your work process once. Then you can worry about everything else. First, give yourself a piece of evidence proof that you can complete something. Style, quality, originality. Those are things you worry about after you've made your 10th piece, your 20th piece. But if you never start the first one, those things will never arrive. Tell me in the comments, what's that thing you've been putting off? Write it down. Not for me to see, so that it moves from being a vague idea floating in your head, something that can be postponed indefinitely, into black and white words, a commitment you've made to yourself. The moment you write it down, the snowball begins to melt.